When they come through your area and they do something like that, it motivates you to do something better for yourself as well.
Millions of dollars could be added to ongoing efforts to improve infrastructure across Indianapolis. The Department of Public Works could get another $13 million for improvements to city streets. WRTV's Adam Schooms spoke to neighbors who say seeing the city invest in their community will motivate them to do the same.
With every step, Tracy Motes is closer to remaking her family's new home.
The area is changing a lot, so we're trying to change with it.
The family's home is near Brookside Parkway South Drive and Nolan Avenue on Indy's east side.
Every part of the house has been changed, and it's kind of nice because they've changed the road and stuff out here.
INDY DPW says it's working on a $10 million project in the area.
The sidewalks are new, like right in front of it, so it all kind of comes together and everything's starting to look so much better.
INDY DPW could get $13 million to help fund more improvements to existing roadways, apply infrastructure upgrades, and enhance the city's stormwater capabilities. That's if city county councilors approve a more than $27 million spring fiscal ordinance next month.
There's potholes that will flatten your tires. There's a lot of places that they can continue to go.
Of the possible funding, INDY DPW says 8 of the $13 million will go towards residential and secondary streets. In recent years, the department has had residential resurfacing contracts of about $8 million each. That improved around 11 lane miles of neighborhood streets, rehabbed sidewalks, ADA ramps, and made curbing and drainage improvements.
They do something like that, it motivates you to do something better for yourself as well.
As Tracy continues to invest in our community, she's glad INDY DPW is doing the same.
When they come through your area and they do something like that, it motivates you to do something better for yourself as well.
In Indianapolis, Adam Schooms, WRTV.
The Indianapolis City County Council says the entire $27.2 million proposal will be up for a final vote on Monday, June 9th. More than $2 million in federal money will fund a new roundabout project in Bargersville. The money was awarded by the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization. The roundabout will transform the intersection of State Road 135 and State Road 144, which sees a lot of traffic and major delays. The Bargersville town manager calls the funding a game changer.
Very excited to be able to move this project forward. We could not do it without the funding from the MPO and the INDOT. This would not be going forward as quickly as it is, and we know that it will spearhead and be the catalyst for some of the improvements that we want to do here in the downtown area.
The roundabout is expected to play a key role in managing increased traffic as Bargersville sees new residential and commercial growth. IMPD is sharing a look at drone video they say helped officers arrest 2 juveniles over the weekend. Investigators say on Saturday a teenager told officers a group of kids threatened him while he was trying to get into his car on the city's east side. IMPD says the kids tried to grab his phone and wallet and tried to grab the teen's keys and then open his car door. The group ran away, but IMPD deployed a drone to check for the suspects, and you can see IMPD vehicles catch up with the group. You can see it in the video there. Well, IMPD says based on additional evidence, 2 of the juveniles, 12 and 14 years old, were arrested for robbery. 2 other juveniles were released. Let's get to your storm team forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, warmer today and some sunshine out there.
Yeah, it's amazing what the sunshine does, right? You get in the sun and the temperatures respond nicely, and we're all the way up into the 60s and 70s here as we work our way through this Tuesday afternoon. 72 officially at the airport here in Indy, 70 in Bloomington as well as Bedford. A little bit warmer here actually to the north, 73 in both Lafayette and Peru. It's going to be a wonderful evening. If you have the chance to get out and about, I encourage you to do so, especially after coming off of that stretch of weather that really started on Saturday where we had the clouds and the showers and the cool temperatures that took us all the way through yesterday. A live look from the top of the pagoda at IMS looking off to the north, just a few fair weather clouds as they prepare for the Grand Prix this weekend. And the weather on Saturday, by the way, for the Grand Prix is looking really, really nice. Here are the clear skies that we're enjoying. Here's what's finally left of that area of low pressure on on the back side of it. The showers have now exited most of Indiana. There's a few in the far northeastern portion of the state. That'll continue to pull away. Eventually, this area of rain to our south will make its way towards Atlanta, but it could bring us a few showers in the forecast as we work our way into Thursday. But until then, we are high and dry and a pleasant evening ahead with temperatures with clear skies in the mid to upper 60s. Nicole?
Todd, thank you. An update from INDY DPW on the Henry Street Bridge project and what archaeologists say they have found there at this site. DPW says its archaeology consultant has identified 674 grave shafts within the Henry Street right-of-way. Crews have been excavating portions of the former Greenlawn Cemetery. The city estimated 650 grave shafts could be found in the entire area. That does not mean that's how many human remains have been found. More research and lab testing would be needed to determine that number. The Henry Street Bridge construction is part of the White River Innovation District project, which includes new roadways on each side of the White River on the southwest side of downtown. Today, pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly broke ground on a $4.5 billion medicine foundry there in Lebanon. The project in the Leap District will create hundreds of jobs in Boone County and thousands of jobs during construction. Governor Mike Braun says Indiana will bring support for necessary infrastructure. When plans were announced, there was concern about whether there was enough water to sustain the foundry. The state says plans are in place to bring water to the development. We talked to a Boone County resident who is excited about the opportunities the district will bring.
And they got to live someplace, so there are housing developments going up all over the place. I know right next to where my property is, there's a new development, 200 or 300 homes.
Governor Braun says the Lilly project will help to strengthen the country's medication supply chain. It is set to be done in 2027. Canada's new prime minister says his country is not for sale. He met with President Trump today for talks about tariffs and other topics at the White House. ABC's Perry Rossum is in Washington with the latest.
A high-stakes meeting in the Oval Office today. President Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney sitting side by side for the first time. The neighboring countries and longtime allies now trade war foes as Trump still pushes for Canada to become the 51st state.
It would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace, that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
Trump later saying never say never.
But never say never.
The U.S. and Canada putting 25% tariffs on each other's goods, not covered by the USMCA. It's a trade agreement with the U.S., Canada, and Mexico negotiated by Trump during his first term.
I'll say a word on USMCA, if I may, Mr. President. It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change. And part of the way you've conducted these tariffs has taken advantage of existing aspects of USMCA. So it's going to have to change. There's other elements that are come, and that's part of what we're going to discuss.
Right.
Trump asked if Carney could say anything during their meeting that would get Trump to lift tariffs on Canada.
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
Overall, a friendly interaction between the leaders today in the Oval Office, with Trump saying, "We are going to be friends with Canada, regardless of anything." Perry Rossum, ABC News, Washington.
The countdown continues to the 109th running of the Indy 500. We are now 19 days away. And today I was there as students in Brownsburg put their racing shoes on and strapped in their cars to learn all about the traditions that make the month of May so special.
It's the second annual Indy 500 at Crossroads Elementary School in Brownsburg. What is the Indy 500?
Race. It's a race with lots of fun games.
The month of May is so important in Indiana, so at a young age I try to teach them about kind of their hometown, practice working together, being a team.
The students made their own race cars, some getting very creative.
What kind of race car do you have?
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen, do you love it?
Yes.
And the races were off. Each student competed hard during their moments on the track.
Did you win your race?
No, I fell in the prickles on my last round.
But that's okay. You got back up and you still had fun, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be the Kindy 500 without some dancing in the snake pit.
I just remember having so much fun. I remember it being really special between me and my dad, kind of making the car together.
Reagan O'Gara brought this tradition to Crossroads because of the lasting memories from her own Kindy 500. But it's a special moment her family shared at the Indy 500 that continues to fuel her love for the sport.
Being able to watch my dad be on the car that won the Indy 500, it was just a day that I will never recover from.
O'Gara's dad, Mike, is the director of operations for Chip Ganassi Racing. She hopes the Kindy 500 will help these kids learn about everything that makes the month of May and the Indy 500 so special.
From the beginning to the end of May, there's tradition in the songs, the flyover, the Memorial Day aspect of it too, the race, just the feeling you get at the race. It's just like something I could never explain to someone.
Are you guys going to watch the Indy 500 this year?
Yeah. And I'm going.
You are? Are you going to wear that outfit?
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, following Indy 500 tradition, the faces of the Kindy 500 winners will be added to their replica of the Borg Warner Trophy each year. We want to see your family's Kindy 500 photos if they're participating in a race this year, or you have some good snaps from years past. Use your phone right now to scan this QR code. It will take you right to my story at WRTV.com, and there is a spot to upload your pictures there and check out others. We want to see them. Well, still ahead here on WRTV's Special Lodgings and Vows of Secrecy, a look at the preparations for the conclave to select a new pope, which begins in just hours. And senators want to help you watch your favorite sports team. Coming up, a hearing on Capitol Hill about sports streaming and the future of watching games.
Hey, Stanton Optical. Easy's our thing.
You're watching WRTV, part of the Scripps News Group.
If you're flying anywhere tomorrow, plan some extra time as we finally reach the deadline for Real ID. If you don't have one yet, you can expect additional screening and the possibility of not being allowed beyond the security checkpoint. But the TSA says it will work with people who don't have an updated ID.
We are fully staffed at all locations across the country, so I don't anticipate any wait times or delays as far as you're going through the security process, but we will process you. You will not be turned away.
If you don't have a Real ID, a passport will still work for travel. The Real ID Act was passed in by Congress in 2005. The 9/11 Commission recommended that the federal government enhance security standards for identification. Final preparations are underway at the Vatican, where it's getting close to midnight, and the conclave is set to begin tomorrow. 133 cardinals will be voting to elect the next pope to represent the Catholic Church. Tonight, they're moving into their lodgings. ABC's Patrick Revel is in Rome with the latest.
Silent and still, the Sistine Chapel now ready for the papal conclave. On Wednesday, cardinals will gather here under Michelangelo's famous ceiling to elect the successor to Pope Francis. Long tables laid out with place cards for each cardinal. On the side, voting rolls. In the room of tears, sets of papal robes in 3 different sizes, ready to fit whoever's chosen. Cardinals today leaving their final general meeting, crossing through St. Peter's Square. The Cardinal of Algiers, one of the 133 who will be voting to choose Pope Francis's successor.
I heard many, all the cardinals, and I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the first vote.
After a mass tomorrow, the cardinals will be sealed off from the world. Vatican staff will be locked in with them on Monday, swearing an oath of total secrecy. Once inside, a key question: will the conclave choose a pope who will continue Francis's more liberal legacy? A top frontrunner, Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State, was a close lieutenant to Francis. Another cardinal, Luis Tagle of the Philippines, often called the Asian Francis.
Francis is Francis, and we won't have a new Francis. But he opened doors, and I hope that, of course, those doors will stay open.
New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan today spoke with our New York station, WABC, hinting at the differences there still are among cardinals.
They're talking about the church. They're talking about the positive sides. They're talking about the worrisome sides.
Pope Francis was elected in 2 days, and many cardinals here are saying they will be surprised if this conclave goes much longer than that. But of course, anything's possible. Patrick Revel, ABC News, Rome.
All right, Todd is back with us now. You saw that Indy 500 story I did. It was cold out there this morning, but by the time I left about 10:30, it was already starting to warm up.
Yeah, you know, we have a couple more of those mornings where it's going to be a little chilly to start in the 40s. Not so much tomorrow morning, but you'll see in the 7-day. But then it warms up quickly with the sunshine, the May sun, pretty strong. And so when we have the sunshine, temperatures are going to be pretty seasonable. When we don't have the sunshine, like we had over the weekend, we're going to be running below normal. That stubborn low finally departed the area. We're back to seasonable temperatures today. We'll go above normal in the coming days, and the weekend is looking great as of right now. And of course, it's a very important weekend with Mother's Day on Sunday, and of course, then you have the Grand Prix on Saturday. The weather's looking great for both of those days. Here's the view outside right now in Greencastle across the campus of DePaul University. You see just a few cumulus fair weather clouds out there. That's just about it. 72 is your current temperature. The air is really dry at 46%, and the winds are out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour. And most locations in the 70s here this afternoon. 73 in Bedford as well as Lafayette. 71 Kokomo and Martinsville. A little cooler in Richmond where your temperature's at 68 degrees. When I showed you this map yesterday of the Midwest, it had the warmth to our west, which it still does in the 70s and then even the 80s in Minneapolis and Sioux Falls. But we were in the 50s. But you can see where that area of low pressure is now off to our east. That's where you find the temperatures in the 50s. And we're finally starting to get back into those warmer temperatures, and that trend will continue in the coming days. Here are the partly cloudy skies. Now, this is the back edge of that area of low pressure that is spinning away. Still some rain across Ohio. Actually, a couple tornado warnings in New Jersey right now, which is fairly rare, and we have additional tornado warnings and flash flood warnings to the south, and we finally find ourselves in a pretty quiet spot here going forward throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. We'll slowly fall back down into the 60s. Sunset tonight, not until 8:45, and then overnight tonight, temperatures will be in the 50s. Nicole mentioned the chill this morning when we were down in the 40s, so a little bit warmer as you get going on your Wednesday. And your Wednesday forecast does take the temperatures back above normal into the mid to upper 70s with partly cloudy skies. Should be a pretty nice Wednesday here as we go into the middle half of the week. Now, there will be some rain chances on Thursday. Those storms that I just showed you down to the south in Texas, moving into Louisiana. The main part of that storm system passes well to our south. We'll just be on the northern fringe potentially of a few isolated rain showers Thursday. Nothing major, no severe weather, nothing that's going to wash out any plans, but there will be a few spotty showers around, I think, on Thursday outside of the shower threat, partly cloudy skies. And then here's this weekend forecast. Times out perfect. Last weekend was terrible weather-wise. This weekend's looking nice. Friday, partly cloudy at 70, 76 degrees with sunshine for Saturday, and then Mother's Day, 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Once we get past Mother's Day, there will be the chance early next week of maybe a few isolated rain showers around, but at this point, Nicole, doesn't look like anything major.
All right, Todd, thank you. Game 2 tonight for the Pacers in Cleveland. We'll see if they can make it a 2-0 series before returning home to the Circle City. You can catch round 2 of the playoffs on national TV, but that wasn't the case for the last round, and that is something that frustrated a lot of Pacers fans. Today, Senators held a hearing on Capitol Hill with officials from 3 of the major sports leagues. Alex Miller explains how lawmakers are trying to make watching sports easier for you.
Officials from Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL on Capitol Hill Tuesday, facing senators' questions on sports broadcasting and the future of streaming games.
Streaming may well be the future, but it shouldn't sideline the fans.
Lawmakers questioning some practices like game blackouts and the 1961 Sports Broadcasting Act.
So the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 gave the leagues the right to sell their national rights to networks as a consortium, as a league.
Ryan Glass-Spiegel covers media for Front Office Sports.
This law was drawn up when there were 3 channels, ABC, NBC, and CBS, and now obviously we have all these cable channels and all of these streaming services.
The major U.S. sports leagues now airing some games exclusively on platforms including Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Max, and Netflix. Watching every game can mean paying up for multiple streaming subscriptions. Lawmakers didn't lay out exactly what they wanted to see from the leagues, but Nevada Senator Jackie Rosen did tout one example of reaching more fans.
Thanks to an agreement between the Golden Knights and Scripps, fans across Nevada are able to watch the Knights free of charge over the air on local broadcast television.
Scripps Sports broadcasts games over the air for free to fans in places like Las Vegas and limited rights for leagues like the WNBA and NWSL. Scripps Sports and the Scripps News Group are owned by the same parent company. Alex Miller, Scripps News Group, New York.
Good riddance to surprise fees. Up next, the additional charges you likely won't miss the next time you buy concert tickets or book a vacation rental.
When you need us most.
Get ready to say goodbye to convenience fees. The Federal Trade Commission's crackdown on deceptive fees takes effect next Monday, and the agency is explaining more about how it will work. Live event ticketing and short-term lodging sites will have to list their total prices more prominently than any other price. Credit card fees won't be allowed to be added into a price later unless the business offers other ways to pay. Businesses are instructed to describe exactly what fees are for and avoid phrases like convenience, service, or processing fees. A property tax relief plan has become law in Indiana, but tonight at 6 we'll show you why when property taxes go down, another tax could go up. And next at 5:30, blazing an early trail into the healthcare field, how high school students are getting a firsthand look at what it takes to wear the white coat.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Integrity Insurance, a Tom Wood company.
Every breath you take.
I'm Joe St. George, just outside of St. Peter's Square, where the conclave is nearly here. So who are the leading contenders to lead the Roman Catholic Church into the future? We'll break that down next.
As the country faces a shortage of healthcare workers, one program is already recruiting and preparing high school students to be the next generation of doctors and nurses. What the students are learning and what it could mean for the future of healthcare. Good evening, I'm Nicole Griffin. First, Chief Meteorologist Todd Clausen shows us what to expect for the rest of the evening and into our Wednesday morning. Todd.
Got into the sunshine today, finally, after that long stretch of cloudy, cool, and wet weather. Here's a live look outside right now in Hamilton County, Morris Reservoir. I've been watching a few boats out there on the lake, and a pretty nice afternoon and evening to be on the lake. Probably just need a light jacket out on the water. If you're just walking around, though, you probably could be in short sleeves, at least here until the sun starts to set. Some cumulus clouds out there right now. Your temperature sits at 72 in Indy. 73 is the current temperature right now in Shelbyville. There's a little bit of wind out there, especially to the north. We have some wind gusts that are up near 30 miles per hour, but skies are partly cloudy. That's the way they stay here throughout the entire evening as that rain finally pushes off to the east. So if you do have plans this evening, should be beautiful. Temperatures falling into the mid 60s. We'll let you know how long this nice weather is going to stick around coming up.
It's graduation season across Indiana, but Crispus Attucks High School is celebrating something different. Todd Simmons here to describe why the next generation of doctors might be inside these halls.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility wearing this coat?
Yeah, I do.
Oinkasalah Oyuweli is a teenager with a passion for healthcare. With this lab coat, she can learn about medicine from IU Health before she's old enough to drive.
I've always loved science subjects, like math, calculations, stuff like that. And I was like, I love helping people. And I love taking care of people.
She is part of the newest class of IU Health Fellowship students at Crispus Attucks High School, who receive smocks that are as bright as their futures.
You are so talented, so remarkable, so capable, and you make me so proud.
These Tigers will spend 3 years under the IU Health umbrella while still at Attucks. Adewale Adebojo is still a junior in high school, but his years in the fellowship gave him a head start on the healthcare career.
They provide you with a job right after. They give you a certificate. I'm officially a CNA as a junior.
Thanks to an internship through the program, he now has his perfect career in mind.
One of my people that I had to shadow were therapists. Their jobs just spoke to me. It spoke to me like, this is something I could do. This is something that's like very fulfilling.
IU Health CEO Dennis Murphy hopes the fellows find their futures. He is also planning to expand this program to other IPS schools. The hospital under construction down the street from Attucks shows just how important these careers are.
We're going to have people retiring out of our workforce, but also more people needing health care. It's critically important for us to build a pipeline of new talent, diverse talent.
The talent is all around this auditorium. and they are now dressed for success. At Crispus Attucks High, Taj Simmons, WRTV.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth cutting some of the senior-most positions at the Pentagon. The former Fox News host plans to slash 20% of active-duty four-star generals and admirals. Hegseth said the aim is to free the military from unnecessary bureaucratic layers.
More generals and admirals does not equal more success. Now, this is not a slash and burn exercise meant to punish high-ranking officers. Nothing could be further from the truth.
These cuts are in addition to the more than half a dozen top general officers that the Trump administration has fired since January, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the only 2 women serving as four-star officers. There's just one day left to make sure your state issue ID or license is Real ID compliant. You need it in order to fly domestically in the United States. But Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem does say that travelers with no Real ID will still be allowed to fly for now, but with probable extra steps. The deadline comes after years of postponements and delays. Mattel plans to raise prices on some of its toys to deal with President Trump's tariffs. The makers of Barbie dolls, Hot Wheels, and other iconic items says China accounts for 40% of its global production. The company is now lobbying the administration to exempt toys from tariffs. Last month, Trump imposed a 145% tariff on most Chinese-made products. Trump was quoted as saying maybe children can have 2 dolls instead of 30.
As you walk around the piazza, the plaza devoted to Pope Pius XII, right in front of St. Peter's, you realize just how global this story is, the election of a pope. There is media literally from all over the world here, and everywhere you go, a different language is being spoken, with many people wondering who are the leading contenders to be the next pope. 133 cardinals will soon be sequestered, but before the conclave begins, some cardinals are speaking with reporters, like His Eminence Cardinal William Wow Sing Che, the Archbishop of Singapore. How are you preparing?
By listening to all the interventions, and we need to pray.
Cardinals are not publicly revealing who they are voting for, nor are they revealing if they actually want to be pope themselves. Cardinal Ignatius Suharyo from Indonesia told us how long he thinks this conclave will last. Your Eminence, how do you mentally and spiritually prepare to enter the conclave? You could be there for weeks.
No, I don't think so. I think 2 or 3 days will be all right now. Yeah.
And do you think we can have a new pope exactly on Wednesday 7th?
I don't think so. But that's 7 is too short.
It's too short.
Maybe 2 days, 3 days.
These cardinals are considered to be the leading candidates based on conversations that Scripps News has had with Vatican insiders. One of the most talked about is Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who would be the first pope since 1978 from Italy. Parolin was close to Pope Francis. Some even called him deputy pope. Around 80% of all popes in church history have been Italian. Is it time for an Italian to be pope?
I think so. I think it's time. I think we need somebody working as Pope Francis worked.
Another leading contender is Cardinal Luis Tagle from the Philippines. He would be the first South Asian pope. Hannah Salva is from the Philippines.
Of course, it will be a proud moment for us Filipinos to have a Filipino pope.
And then there is the possibility that the new pope comes from Africa, where the church is growing in rapid numbers. On the list of contenders are a number of African cardinals who are considered generally more conservative than cardinals from other parts of the world. This sister, who was born on the continent of Africa, told us she is praying for all the possible popes.
If I'm in Rome or Paris, in one village in Africa, I will be happy to know that we have a new pope.
Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, the Vatican.
The stock market may get more headlines, but it was actually the bond market that pushed President Trump to pause tariffs. I'm Stephanie Liebergen. Coming up, why the bond market matters for your money.
88 Hensley. Watching WRTV, part of the Scripps News Group.
Welcome back. The city of Carmel is continuing to look into the operations of its annual Chris Kindle Mart. After more than an hour of discussion last night, the city council unanimously voted to launch an investigation into issues surrounding the major event. Councilors are looking for more clarity into what happened with the board replacement and the CEO recently resigning, and what processes they can improve going forward.
And establish a committee of the whole by majority vote of this council tonight to investigate the actions taken by representatives, contractors, and the CCI Board of Directors. I believe this is the only way that we are going to get everyone to get on the same page and we start moving forward and try and replace the huge loss of people who seem to give heart and soul.
The entire city council will be on that committee and work on the investigation. Last night, they also selected Councilor Ryan Locke to chair it. The next Carmel City Council meeting will be held on May 19th.
There's a good chance that if you take out your phone, you can quickly scroll to an app that shows you how the stock market is doing. But you might not be paying as much attention to the bond market. And financial experts say you should be, especially with all the uncertainty caused by tariffs. You've likely heard a lot about the stock market lately.
The stock market has been on a roller coaster because of tariffs.
The stock market is strong.
We're watching the stock market plummet.
But there's another market you should know about, too.
We saw the bond market kind of go crazy.
Well, the bond market was okay.
We have to stabilize the debt and give confidence to the bond markets.
Yes, the less discussed bond market. Investors in the stock market own stock in a company. So what does owning a bond mean?
A bond is a promise between a borrower and a lender.
Typically, when we're talking about the bond market, the borrower refers to the U.S. government, specifically the U.S. Treasury, and the lender is anyone who buys a bond. The borrower guarantees a return for the lender. So let's say you buy a 10-year bond for $1,000 at a 4% rate. You'd collect $40 annually and get your principal back after 10 years. Investing in the bond market has long been considered a very safe bet.
The United States is still the dominant economy in the world, so the U.S. Treasury market, being the largest, is still looked upon as the safest.
Okay, now on to why the bond market has been making headlines recently.
I was watching the bond market. The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it.
That was President Trump right after he paused most tariffs last month. The rate for the 10-year Treasury yield dropped after his original April 2nd tariff announcement. And that's typical when the stock market slides and investors move toward bonds.
So as stocks were falling, we were seeing yields come down, bonds were acting the way they were, and then they reversed. And we started to see stocks were still going down, but bond yields started to go up.
This meant some people holding bonds were selling them off, a sign they were losing confidence in the U.S. economy.
So it was clear that there was a growing stress in the bond market.
The bond market has fluctuated less since then, but it can still have major implications for Americans because it's a linchpin of the U.S. economy. It impacts several other areas, including borrowing.
It affects what we pay for borrowing costs. So whether it's a new home, a new car, credit card payments, everything is based off of the prevailing interest rates.
That means what happens in the bond market eventually impacts your wallet. The bond market has normalized since the president's initial tariff announcement, but we'll have to wait and see what lies ahead. The so-called reciprocal tariffs that are currently paused are due to go back into effect in July. Stephanie Liebergen, Scripps News Group.
All right, it's been very wet and chilly, as you know, not only over this weekend, but as you look back to April, we had over 8 inches of rain, so it was a little tough for the farmers to get out into the field. Latest crop report came out as of May the 4th. That was over the weekend. 26% of the corn is planted, and soybeans, about 25% have been planted. They'll have a nice opportunity, the farmers here, for the soil to warm and to dry out as we go forward with a nice stretch of weather. Just some minor rain chances in the forecast in the coming days. Fair weather clouds out there this evening. Your temperatures very comfortable. We're at 73 in Shelbyville as well as Greencastle and Lafayette. 72 officially at the airport in Indy. And here are some of your other temperatures across the area at this hour. 66 in Richmond, one of our cooler spots. 72 the current temperature in Terre Haute. A lot of warmth out there. The cool weather with the clouds and the showers now off to the east, and we'll continue